uh, Islam enjoins marriage. It's an obligation on Muslim to get married. A Muslim cannot claim that he is living a life of obedience to Allah and refuses to get married, unless there are reasons not to get married, whether medical reasons or lack of sound judgment or lack of sound mental health issues and so forth that cannot put that person in charge of a family, whether man or woman. Besides those reasons, a Muslim has to get married. It forbids all form of sexual relationships outside marriage. This has to be understood. These relationships are either before marriage or after marriage. There is no such relationship except within the entity of marriage. No exceptions. Nobody should engage into such things as a Muslim who fears Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala outside the relationship of marriage. They are equally in sin, severe in punishment, and unfit for a Muslim. They are unfit for a Muslim, whether before marriage or after marriage or during marriage. It's unfit for a Muslim who knows that his Lord or her Lord is watching him or her to engage in such things before marriage, regardless of the appeal and the inclination. It's also equally and worst to be unloyal to one's wife or one's husband and engage into these things within marriage. Also, because of this, marriage is initiated in a responsible, well-planned manner. It is not haphazard. It is not the initial appeal that makes marriage a successful one or a right one. It has to be planned and well thought of, because it will lead to institutionalization of the family, and it will lead to a stable family life. If it is not well planned and well done, it's not going to lead to a stable family life. Also, once we engage into marriage, we understand and we must commit that this is a permanent relationship. It is enduring, it's for life. And each one is expected to make a serious and sustained effort to live together and play their respective role. This is a duty. The wife has a duty to repair her marriage when it falters. The husband has a duty also to work to make sure when there are pitfalls to rectify, to repair the marriage as well. It's both. It cannot be the responsibility of one and a free ride for the other. This is not going to work. And in most of the time, these are the reasons for problems, because people expect from the other what they themselves do not do. A lot of time you find the brothers saying, I'm looking for this, and this characteristic. And when you line them up, subhanallah, this is like a sahabiyya. The woman he's looking for is a sahabiyya, it's the companion of the Prophet. But on the other hand, when we ask, okay, so brother, what are you bringing to the table? We don't find the sahabi. And likewise, the other vice versa. So this is very important. We are human beings, each one with our faults. Let's recognize that and forge, inshallah, a relationship that we work on to perfect, inshallah, for the rest of our lives. So, just briefly, inshallah, as a structure, there is the inner entity, which is the family as is known probably in the West. The inner core, in Islam it's referred to as the inner unit, which is the parent, the husband and the wife in the center, their children, and then their respective father and mother. wife's side or husband's side. And subhanallah, because of the mercy of Islam, anybody who is hired into the house to help with whatever chores they are, that person is considered a member of the family with duties toward them. Outside of that, there is the fathers, sisters and brothers. There is the wives, sisters and brothers. There is the daughters of the brother. There is the daughters of the sister. There is the mother-in-law, of course. There is the father-in-law. There is the son's wife. There is the daughter's husband, and so on. All of these that you see here listed have rights of inheritance. These are people who we cannot marry to in the family. And those we cannot marry to by this blood relationship, they are to be living in free fashion within the family, which means anyone we cannot marry to is called a mahram. And a mahram, for the wife, she does not need to cover herself in his presence, because he is a mahram. That's how they are referred to. And so we have to be mindful of this large structure. When two people get married in Islam, it is not just them two. It's everything that comes with them from both sides. That's what Islam is. So let's get to something that is crucial with his husband-wife relationships. And so once a contract of marriage is agreed on and signed on and established, there are some key rights and duties. And first we will cover the rights of the wife toward her husband. By no means this is the list, this is just key amongst them. First of all, they are material and financial rights of the wife toward her husband. The first one, as we know it, is the payment of the dowry, which becomes her property. No one has the right over it, including her family. In some societies, unfortunately, it's paid to the father, and because of a total lack of understanding of Islam, it's in total violation of Islamic injunctions, the father takes possession of that. It is her property. No one can claim it except with her consent if she wants to spend it in whatever way or shape or form she wants. It's hers. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah An-Nisa, verse 21 and 22, but if you decide to take one wife in place of another, this is just one case of marriage, even if you had given the latter a whole treasure for dowry, take not the least bit of it back. Would you take it by slander and manifest wrong? And how could you take it when you have gone onto each other and they have taken from you a solemn covenant? This mithaqan ghalidha again. How could you dare to take it back from her? So this is the strongest language to describe the fact that this is her property. Nobody should touch it. The second is what is referred to in Islam as nafaqa. Nafaqa is not min al-nifaq, it's not out of hypocrisy. Nafaqa here is spending. Min al-infaq is the financial support. It is an obligation on the husband to provide for the needs of his wife, for her sustenance of food, clothing, housing, household help if needed, medical coverage, even if she has the means to do so herself. If she has the means to do so herself, it is still the responsibility of the husband. That's part of the Islamic marriage.